Before we go into the Git, pull requests, there is something that is pretty fundamental to coding, which is the IDE, the Integrated Development Environment, the IDE. As developers, we can code on almost anything, right? From a paper and a pen to a whiteboard and a marker. But no one wants to really do that because your code will not compile. And even if it compiles, it's going to be a large pain for you to do. So we tend to use tools. And there's been graduation of tools, right? We started with CLI, it's command line, right? The terminal. I can show you a picture of the terminal here. So the first one we are going to talk about is the IDE. This is a picture of it. You know, those fancy black, usually black, it could be any color, but for some reason the movies like to paint it as black. So those black background, no color, no images, nothing, just text on it. Yeah, you see hackers just typing on and just hacking away with, hey, we've secured the Pentagon, we're turning to the Pentagon, we have access to the president's computer, what do you want me to do? I'm like, we want you to delete all these records, all the Pentagon's records. We want to take down America. I'm like, oh, that's a rock. I don't know. I don't know what they do in movies. I'm a very terrible actor. But you get the point. Those very black background text box that only contains text, no images, are kind of like the CLI, the command line interface. And this was how computing was actually done in the past before we got all fancy with our GUIs and our mouse and our keyboards. Before everything was just that CLI. So if you wanted to, even forget programming, right? If you wanted to do anything, right? If you wanted to do anything, you had to interface with the CLI, you wanted to do a calculation, you wanted to save a record, anything you wanted to do normally with a computer, you wanted to play a game, everything was built on top of CLI. Those CLI is where we started writing code, but we easily realized that this experience was not great. I mean, I can't really see something called syntax alighting. I can't really, my code is not looking very fancy. It's a lot easy for me to track errors. I mean, I want to see those red errors on the line when I'm writing code. So we gravitated towards using Notepad, which is a regular notepad that we have on every Windows computer or normal text box in TXT files, and graduated using some other IDEs. Now, most people just use VS Code, WebStorm, IntelliJ. There are a lot of popular IDEs that people use now, the long list. But the IDE is just basically the environment in which we decide to write code on. Right, so this environment will be different for different programming languages. For JavaScript, you'll be looking at VS Code or WebStorm. For Java, you'll be looking at IntelliJ. For Ruby, you'll be looking at RubyMine, or you can also use VS Code for many of these. So there are just different environments we use to write our code. Different environment gives us different benefits, like the syntax alighting, the error alighting, auto-completion, imbued runner for you to run our codes. Basically, just anything that just makes the experience better for developers. So that's just it about the IDE. Now that we understand what the IDE is, let's go to what Git is, which is one of the highlights of this module, right? What is Git? See you in the next module. Bye.